Hello and welcome to an all new Deep Cuts Live. I'm your host, Antoine Reed. And today we have what I usually call like a double header. We have two guests, which is always kind of fun to kind of bounce questions off of. But we have Billy and Gus from Artesano Del Tobacco. So I want to welcome them. I met them briefly at the PCA trade show. We didn't get to have a long conversation, so I'm looking forward to making up for that today. So how are you guys doing?
Antoine, thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much for having us at your show. And we are so excited to share some beautiful stories with you and smoke those beautiful cigars, El Pulpo and Viva. I'm Billy.
Okay, again, I'm going to say that good evening from New York for you, Antoine, and thank you for having us at your Deep Cut Live. It is an honor to have us on that show. We thank you, and also we thank all your followers and whoever is going to be on the show now. And my name is Gus.
Well, thank you. And like I said, even before I met you at the trade show, I heard so much about you all, and I know that we have a Lisa from the PCA was telling me like, make sure you go by their booth and visit them. And then I was like, oh, this is the company that I've heard so much about that I have all these questions for. So I'm looking forward to getting those questions answered today during our show. But what we usually like to do before we get into like all the cigar talk is we have like a little icebreaker just to kind of get the conversation started. And for you all, for your icebreaker question, I wanted to ask, what's a common social norm that you all think is totally bizarre? And I know that you all are in New York or have experience in New York, so I'm sure you've seen all types of bizarre behavior that maybe some people think is normal, and you know that it's not normal. So I'm curious to hear your response to that question.
Well, as you said, yes, we live in New York, and you see all kinds of bizarre stuff happening. But when we were in retail, most common was people coming, taking cigars, and they think they're entitled for it, to smoke it, and if they like it, to pay for it. Few customers like this, and the idea didn't work in my head. Like, what do you mean? Like, you come to buy a cigar, or it's like, no, I need to test it first, and if it is good, I pay you money. So we said, you know what? This is the first and the last time you come to our shop. Go somewhere else, try it there. If it works, then come and let me know. So this was one of those crazy stories, and the guy was literally legit about this. He was so adamant about it that this is the right way to do. If I like it, I pay. If I don't, then too bad. Right?
You know, exactly. Yeah, and I bet you, Antoine, the whole thing, and I guess the people who own like cigar lounges, they will agree with what I'm going to say. There's a lot of people come into, again, it's about retail, it's about like the experience we had with our clients and with people in New York in general. They come to your shop and they expect to be entitled, and they expect to have things served to them for nothing just because they are in your shop. And, we learned over the years how to address and how to approach clients like that. And they end up being great clients for us and friends sometimes. You have to be we learned all this politically correct, how to approach them and how to talk to them. At the beginning, it's very hard for them to understand and accept what we're telling them. But it ended up working very, very well at the end. And we learned a huge, huge thing from being ex-retailers and being around all those great people.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if they go into other stores expecting to like try out the samples or try out the hardware, and then they're like, no, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Here you go. You can take it back.
Yeah, exactly. So, listen, they learned, we learned, and also we learned so much from them. But it was a unique situation that we felt it's important to understand them so they could understand the etiquette of the cigar lounge, right? And we stayed in that industry for like 25 years in the retail, and we became extremely close to them, friends, and it's a big community that we have at those cigar shops that we had in New York.
And I also, Antoine, I'm going to add this about like been here for so long in New York, so we know the thing that people talk about New Yorkers and how rough they are and how bad they are and how they push you to the under the bus, which is to me it's only
It's not true.
It's not true. New Yorkers are well known to have big heart. They run to help. They if you ask them for help, they will give you the shirt on their back.
Like every state too.
Yeah, but because the story that goes around that if you go to New York, you have to be very careful. There is a lot of thieves. You have to be aware of your surroundings, which is we do everywhere we go. But the publicity, the bad publicity about New York is way too much. So I invite you, Antoine, to come to New York, and I bet you were here many times, and you will have a great time with us for sure.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in New York. I think it was probably 2019, so pre-pandemic. So I know that the city's a little bit different past, post-pandemic. But I used to go to New York almost like every summer at some point, and then the pandemic hit, and I just haven't been up there since then.
Anytime you decide you want to come, hit us up. We will meet you. We go. We have dinner together. We come to a cigar lounge, any cigar lounge, and we go and we smoke some nice cigars there, and we show you the city around.
Sounds good. So everyone who's listening to this has heard that invitation.
It's open invitation anytime. Anytime.
Well, thank you for answering that icebreaker. I think it does lead into kind of this discussion I want to have with you all, because I do know that you all do have like a retail background, which I find interesting in the cigar industry, that those people who have cigar brands who worked in retail first seem to have like a completely different trajectory than people who just jump into the cigar industry. And I know that it doesn't always seem like the most entertaining and fun way to get into the industry, but it almost seems like a necessary way. Like you have to understand that retail foundation before you move into selling the products.
Correct.
And like it doesn't really happen both ways. Like, so just tell us a little bit about how you all got into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
What was the early days of your careers kind of like working with cigars?
So, Antoine, let me start myself. Before we jumped into the cigar the business that we opened has to do with cigars. We were like placed downtown in the village. We owned some businesses down there. It has nothing to do with cigars, but we always carried cigars because we smoked them. Mm-hmm. And then 1992 is when the magazine, Scarpinato, came into the market, and we started looking deep into it. We fell in love with it, and we said, you know what? We are going to move from downtown. We sold what we have, and we came uptown where we live, and we opened a shop. The first Cigar Inn was open on Upper East Side, and that was at that time. Being ex-retailers, we had learned a huge deal of like understanding what a consumer needs, how to approach them. Being in that business, they taught us huge experience on how to maneuver and learn, whether it's about the cigar itself, the palate, what people like, what people don't like. So we used to do like analyses, homework, and we study the market in a very rigorous, deep way to come with the right decision when we want to purchase some product to the business. So yeah, we moved from downtown up to the 70th, and that was the first cigar inn that we opened back then.
So what happened during those years, we saw a successful brands coming in. We saw brands that they were hot and then they died. We learned what moved those brands, why certain brands worked, why certain brands didn't work. And then we saw that from the point of view of clients. So they used to come and tell us X, Y, and Z, this flavor, that flavor, right? So we realize what is the clients are looking for, consumer is looking for, and the market is looking for, right? So we learned from that point of view the market behavior, and also we learned what flavors is key to a certain blends, right? So before I started in cigars, I'm an architect by trade, and I work in architecture. I studied architecture, but always, my love was the cigars. And I love people. I love meeting new people, creating new friends. So retail was the place for me to be, right? And we opened the cigar shops, as Gus said, and we learned so much from our consumer, from our clients. Remember when I opened the cigar shop, I was literally like close to 20 years old, right? So it was a small cigar shop, and I grew up in it while I was studying architecture at that time. And so I learned my customers were like older than me. So they used to come and tell me I like this flavor. So I used to ask them, like, what do you like about this brand or that brand? So they used to come and say the flavors, the taste, the experience that they have. And little by little, I begin to understand it the way they are. I mean, a guy who's 40 or 50 years old, he summarized all his experience in cigars to me within a time of he's coming to our shop, right? Plus the magazines, Cigar Aficionado, Cigar Snob, Cigar Journal, not Half Wheel. All these like began like a place for me to learn more and more about uh, cigars, and it is so important that to have that knowledge because you understand what the store is looking for, what sells in that store. For example, like if you make boxes with 50 cigars, it's too much for a cigar store to carry. Right now, the hottest are like 10 count boxes or easier to sell. Before it was 20 and 25, right? So now it changes. Same thing with people palate. It changed from flavor. Every 5-6 years, people palate change. So if I ask you, like, if you smoked, let's say, what was your first cigar you ever smoked?
It
You
was
remember?
it was an archetype cigar by Ventura Cigar Company,
When was that?
2015.
2015. So now it's 2025, right? If you go back and you smoke it, at that time it was your favorite, maybe, right? It was your best one of, right? So if you go back and you smoke it, it's gonna remind you a little bit of that moments, but it's not flavors that you're gonna look for. It's not the cigar change. The cigar is still excellent. Your palate changed because so many cigars you smoke, so many new blends. It changed the palate of the consumer, and you have to keep up with the change of those palettes. So this is how we always think about it.
Yeah, and let me sum it up with that particular question, Antoine, which is a great question. The knowledge and the experience we learn from being ex-retailers is humongous. There is no college, there's no school will teach you those things because we were right there on the forefront with every consumer, with every cigar lover. We learned a huge deal of knowledge from them. So what we learned, we are right now implementing that to the product that we bring it into the market. We understand how the whole dynamics of the industry, the population, the percentage of the amount of the consumer who likes medium to full, medium, light, like the full flavored, all those things. So we do this study and we push it toward the product that we bring it in. It's not that we base the cigar that we bring on our likeness. We look into the whole industry and we take it to that level. And that's what happened to us being ex-retailers.
I'm curious for you all being retailers, when you look at how the industry and the market was when you first got into the industry compared to right now, like what used to be the thing that got people to buy a cigar versus like what is it today that you find people are looking for? Is it the same thing, or has that kind of changed? Has the reasoning kind of changed a bit?
So always in people's mind, they want something that is hard to get, very limited editions, right? And they want something that is constantly in a good, knowing that when they go, they buy that box, it's all good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they look for. And it did not change that much from their perspective. But now what adds is what's new. And before, it's like there is certain brands known in the industry that classic names, a lot of them like Fuente, Padron, those names, Monte Cristo, Romeo, those names, like they were, and they still like main names, and people always gravitated toward those brands. And right now, the consumer is more educated about fillers, binders, wrappers, which region from Nicaragua, which region from Dominican, Honduran, right? So they're more educated about the cigar blending process, the fermentation, all these stuff. So it changed the dynamic into what's new. I want to experience something new, right? Before it wasn't like this, correct?
100%. And Antoine, if I take you back to 1992, cigars and cigar smokers, they've been doing this for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
The magazine came and changed the whole like dynamic of the whole industry. And for the next 2 to 6 years, people thought it's a fad. People were jumping and they were like smoking anything and they want to be somebody else. They look and they see celebrities. They look and see everyone smoking cigars, and everyone thought it's a fad and then it will die. Back then, they had no education on what cigars to pick, what cigars to smoke. They used to hold a cigar like this to show that they are smoking a Cohiba or a Monte Cristo, or just it's a show. Smoke the cigars, maybe they didn't like it, but because everyone was doing it, they were doing it. Today, just to mention that to you, we asked this question, what's the difference? The consumers that they are right now with us, they are educated, they know what they want, they know a good cigar, they know if it's a light, medium, or full. So you have to be very careful if you manufacture something that those guys know. I'm not going to use that
They want
word.
the best. They want the best.
They know what they want.
Yeah.
And if you have something good, they will tell you, they appreciate what you bring. And if not, they tell you it's not good, I won't smoke it. So there's a huge difference between today and 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You have an educated consumer. That makes it easy, that makes it different for us, because I was on both. Like, I was an ex-retailer, I know exactly what the consumer is looking for. You know, price point. But also, it has to be good, right? So that's the big difference.
So at what point did you decide to go from retail to the manufacturing, or to become brand owners, I should say?
You know, I will let you know exactly what happened. We were acquired. The company bought us. We weren't like in the market to sell, but things happened. And
Casa de Monte Cristo.
Yeah, we are like in Casa de Monte Cristo now, and then we sold. We love this so much that we said, you know what, we're gonna continue doing what we love the most, and we're gonna go into the other part of the business, which is manufacturing and creating the blend.
Yeah, in 2012, we actually 2013, when AJ and his ex-partner came to our cigar shop and introduced to us 2012, I think, San Lotano cigars, which we didn't know who was AJ was at that time, and they're introducing their new cigars to the market. So we fell in love with his brands, and we became really close friends with him. So we decided to do a cigar called Viva la Vida. So we came to him, and he was, you know what, you helped me when I was nobody, and now I will do the same thing for you guys. Anytime you decide you want to do a cigar, I'm here for you, right? So we did the Viva la Vida. And in 2015, we sold to Casa de Monte Cristo, and the cigars came. We released it in 2019, so it took about 6 years for the blending to work the way we want it. And in 2019, we brought it to the market, and we were extremely grateful and honored the response we got from the consumer. It was really huge for us. And honestly, I tell you something, when we went down to AJ to start working on the blending, all in my mind, Instagram was a little bit the new in the market, Instagram, right? So I was sitting smoking one of those blends at night at the factory, and in my mind I was like, oh my God, can you imagine? I open Instagram and I see somebody opening his humidor, and here's a Viva laying down next to Monte Cristo Padron. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was like the ultimate in my head. Like somebody I don't know, he's in South Carolina, North Carolina, and he's so proud of his cigars that he opened the humidor, and here's a Viva and Opus and whatever, right? Next to each other. And to me, that's like, it's the ultimate.
That was the recognition that we always looked for, that people start to realize the brand, they appreciate the brand, the blend. And when you reach to that point, Antoine, you feel good about yourself. You feel that you did something that the people
Hard work pays off.
Yes, right? Definitely. And you start to see that those consumers, they appreciate what you created. And yes, it's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And with that first blend, you talk about how it took some time to bring it to market, which I think is a very good point to make, because not a lot of people who are just consumers kind of think about that. They just think, you know, it's like you wait for the trade show season to start, you get all your new cigars, and you think that was just like developed in between, like, you know,
overnight.
Yeah, overnight, and they don't know that some of those cigars are years, sometimes decades in the making. So what was that experience like for you? Like, was it any bit of a learning curve, like going from like just retail to suddenly you're trying to bring a blend to market on the other end? What was that whole experience like?
That's a great question, Antoine. And I tell you something. So when we started with Viva la Vida, right? So when we started with the blending and selecting the tobacco, AJ told us it's going to take about 2 years. So in our mind, it's going to take 2 years, right? But it took 5 years. And you have to trust the blender, you have to trust the factory, and you have to trust time. You cannot rush time, especially with tobacco, right? So when we brought Viva la Vida and it took 5 years, we realized that it takes more than what we expect. And to give you another example, El Pulpo, we started 2017, we released it 2023. So it took another 5 years. And when we released it, AJ, we went down, we smoked it, perfect, So we came back. We gave our pre-releases to all our Club 500, which is all the cigar shops that they were the first cigar shops to carry Viva and clubs. And we did a press release that in November 2023, we're going to release the cigars. So AJ, 2 weeks after the pre-release, he sent me an email saying, if I were you, I wait 2 more months. And we said, listen, we just did the the press release to Cigar Aficionado, Snob, everyone. He's like, don't worry. If they ask you, create a story. But if I were you, there is a flavor that you guys mentioned to me. It's still 50%. I need to bring it to 100.
And again, he said to us, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it, but I do not recommend that. So we listened.
And then we let it sit. Then in January, Cigar Aficionado sent us an email saying, aren't you supposed to bring the cigars in November? Said yes, but we had a box factory problem. So the box factory delayed sending the boxes. So next month, we're going to release the cigars.
It was a white lie.
So they know later on that we lied. And they said, you know, and you have to believe in the process. You have to trust the guy that you're working with. And to show you that AJ, even though he's making the cigar for me, for us, right? It's not his brand. He take care of it as if it is his.
His name is on it, so you know they do have.
He feel passionate.
The relationship that we have with them is very solid, and that's key. That is key. We trust them; they trust us, and whenever we have a blend that we bring in to them to start working on, they all ears and they take their time and they give us the time to pick the tobacco we're looking for and the blends that we're looking for. So it's a very solid, close business relationship with them.
And you talk about AJ. What did you all learn about cigars from working with AJ, from like that blending brand like owning your own brand? Because I know it's a different relationship when you work with somebody like retail to manufacturer, but now you're on like the other side. So what did you what did he kind of teach you all about this industry that you didn't know before?
Yeah. To me, I learned everything regarding for blending, fermentation, selecting. I learned it from him. Yes, before we saw it in different factories, but now you are more one-on-one with him, teaching you why this, not that. If we put these stuff together, the end result. The guy is genius, man. He manipulates the soil, not only the seed, the soil, knowing that in 2 years, this leaf is going to give me that flavor. So to that level, he's like a magician, man, right? So with all due respect to everyone, each one of them has their own techniques, has their own sauce in making a cigar, right? We really fell in love the way AJ does his, the way he treats the tobacco. He's so passionate about it, right? And we love working with him.
Yes, and to me, I learned a lot on, and the only thing that resonated in my mind is this sentence: do not rush the process. Let it take its course. End of the story. You might have the best tobacco, you might have the best blend. If you rush it just to meet what the market is looking for numbers, you start to go in down. So it is about giving the process the time that's needed. The only thing that cures tobacco, and as you know, everyone knows, is time. No chemicals, nothing. Time.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of what people don't realize, like patience needed in this industry. That it takes time to build a brand. It takes time to, make a product, to get it right. So I think people aren't accustomed to, especially in today's world, waiting and bidding their time on anything. So I know that you all seem to have gotten that from the get-go.
Yeah, yeah. And it's important to listen to your customer. It is important to listen what the market is telling you to make. When we blend cigars, we do not blend them based on my palate or his. As I told you guys, we have a huge base, which is the 500 Club. They always give us advice what to do, what sizes, shapes, blends. For example, the Viva La Vida, Connecticut, 2 years ago, the suggestions came from them that our portfolio is medium full, and full, but we don't have a medium lighter blend. Why you wouldn't work on a Connecticut? So it was suggestion from them, and for 2 years we worked with AJ. So we created this Ecuadorian Connecticut with new Nicaraguan filler and binder, and it's based on the Club 500.
It was a very hard task because we are well known. Artesano Tobacco is medium full and it has that full body to it. So, a portion of the population that follows us and they really consume our product, they came with the idea that this is what's missing. We all ears. We take it to that level and then we come up with what they are looking for. Before we release it, we have the blends and we send it to them, and they have to try. And whatever they tell us, then we start chiseling and adding or subtracting. So as well, the impact that the club that we have on us is huge, and you could feel it with the changes that we do. Sometimes we say, you know what, this is good, but then we start getting their suggestions. We stop and we turn the corner and we go with the majority.
Now, with your company, when you put together these blends and you kind of figure out what you wanted to do, how did you choose the name of your company?
Artesano Del Tobacco is a celebration of all these hard worker at those factories. They're all artisan in their own way. The farmers, they're artisan, planting those seeds and nurturing those tobacco leaves, and those people who, the buncher and the guys who roll those cigars, they're all artists in their own way. The guys who makes the boxes, the guys who make the bands, right? These are all artists that we feel. How are you, buddy? We feel so honored to be around creating those cigars, that we bring them to the States here, that we see them on the cigar lounges shelves, right? So it's the Artesano, artist of tobacco, the artists of tobacco. So it's a celebration to remind people that those guys who make those cigars, they are artists. And without them, there will be no great cigars that we are enjoying right now, and it's one of those art that we could consume instead of putting it on the wall and watch it, or making the room look good with that painting, right? This is the most affordable art that we could have. Smoke it. Tomorrow we smoke it. It's the same taste, but different experience. That's the beauty about cigars. Every time you smoke a cigar, it's totally different experience, even though it's the same taste. And you create that moment. And that cigar help you to create that moment. And it is important to understand that we do these stuff just to celebrate all the accomplishment that we did during the day.
Well, Antoine, let me speak about the corporation Artesano Tobacco. When we formed it, we were in the process of forming the bylaws of the corporation and what it's all about. We believe in a very high-end quality product, premium cigars, and we love art as well. And we said quality is number one that we have to have in our line all the time. No cutting corners, no making something cheap and pretend it is not. And then because we love art, we said, you know what? The names have to be attractive, have a different look. So we said we want that premium product to merge and come out with the art that we have. So you look at the accent, you look at everything that is around this cigar, whether it's the band, whether it's the design, everything around it is a mix. So you take for El Pulpo, for example, when you smoke it, you look at that El Pulpo and you're enjoying it, you're thinking about the flavors, you're thinking about when I'm going to go and have a nice dinner where like the octopus is one of my, something that I want to eat. But we mix things together. We are in that format. We love what we do, and it has to be quality, 100%.
So with Viva La Vida, like I think obviously when people look at that artwork, especially, like you have a reaction to it, because I think in the cigar industry you're kind of used to very ornate bands with family crests, this and old
Correct.
school portraits of this person or that person, and then like with that, like you get like with Viva La Vida, you get like the court jester kind of smiling at you, and then El Pulpo, you get the octopus. So like, how did you choose that artwork, and was there a certain type of reaction that you were hoping people would have to that artwork when they saw that on a humidor shelf with, like you said, all those other classic brands like Fuente and Padron and Tatuate that sometimes take a very traditional approach to their artwork?
Correct.
Beautiful question again.
Yeah. So, Antoine, thank you so much for this question. So, when we created, as Gus said, the corporation, we wanted something totally different than this Cubanesque design, which is the family crest, the medals on the logo, right? They're all good, but we want to take a different approach. We want something different, right? So we used art in our benefit. And the way we did it is we went more modern but classic, one. And two, it want to reflect the blend, the company, and what we stand for, right? That's why we went with the octopus, the Al Pulpo, and its shape. We went with the court jester for the Viva. And for example, for the Viva La Vida, we asked ourselves what made us happy when we were kids, right? So when we go to those amusement parks, there was always those, court jesters playing and making you happy, even though maybe inside he wasn't, but he was trying to make everybody around him happy. And we're trying to tell people, like, enjoy life. You did such a great job today. Doesn't matter what the results is. You worked so hard. Enjoy it. Have a cigar and enjoy it. With the Al Pulpo, we wanted a blend that fits in people's palate the way the octopus fits in different shapes and forms. As you know, octopus have no bones in his body, right? So if you put him in a triangular shape, he becomes that triangular shape. If you put him in a square shape, he becomes square. So we want a blend that works in people's palate the way the octopus work in those shapes, and he becomes that shape. So we went to a different route regarding art, logos, and designs. And also, when we go down to AJ, for example, we don't go to AJ telling him we want to make a cigar, and we show him a finished product, a drawing, design of the labels, the cigar, the shape, the box, the way it looks, everything, right? So, and then we go to AJ and was like, listen, we want a wrapper, this wrapper, blinder, filler, and then he fixed these stuff for us within years of work, right? But what we did, we affected him without him realizing by showing him the finished product. So we worked backwards, right? We worked from finished product to start. And doing that, we helped him in a way, we show him what the end result is, right? So it was a much easier path for him to work because you gave him the name. It affected him somehow, somewhere, and most of the time he never liked the names that we gave him. Al Pulpo was like, oh, Al Pulpo, Viva, whoa, Viva. Like they want La Gloria Cubana. They want classic names, right?
Right.
And I'm saying it in a jokingly, right? Like, but he's honest about it. Like in the beginning, he doesn't like it, but then it grows on him, and then he begins to realize the minute the blend works with the image, then it works in his mind. It works with him. He begins to feel part of it, and the process going back and forth, it becomes part of him, his identity, like ours, and that's the whole thing, right?
Exactly. We have a feel or a purpose that we want to celebrate the industry by redefining. We want to celebrate the moment and the tradition by redefining the industry itself. And we feel that by doing that, it will have a shining star on the product that we bring, and we believe in quality. As I said, there is nothing that will make you succeed if you try to make cigars pretending they are premium and they are not, and put them in the market every 6 months, bring another blend, thinking by doing that,
or you rush it.
This is exactly what's going to happen, and then the quality start to go under. You will lose the track, and then you will lose the spot. So quality is our core. There is 5 things in our corporation, and 5 of them is quality. Premium cigars is what we plan always to bring, and it has to be a high end. And if it's for some reason, sometimes you feel like the blend is not what we're looking for, we will stop the project, and then we have to revisit the whole steps, one step at a time. So we've been approached by so many people in the industry and outside. You guys, you could bring like cigars every 6 months. You have to have by now, your portfolio should have 7 or 8 or whatever, but it's not. Our purpose is not just for numbers. We need something that the consumer enjoy, and it will leave an impact on each and every consumer.
Want a cigar with memorable experience.
One cigar at a time.
Well, I find that those people who have a retail background take that approach where they don't feel like they don't feel the pressure to release something every few months, or even every year. Like they're willing to take the time to build up that brand, because I can think of several people in the industry who have like that big retail background, and they're the ones who, like I said, who aren't releasing something so much, because it's almost like, even as a consumer, when a company releases so many things at one time, it's hard to keep up and it's hard to tell them even tell them apart. So
correct.
Building that brand is important, and it takes, again, which is kind of like the theme of this discussion, it takes time to kind of build that theme.
100%. And the other thing also, we also involve the consumer. So for example, when we had Viva La Vida on our Instagram, all social media, you will see the names of the brands that we are bringing to the market years. So for example, El Pulpo, you saw the name, everybody knew about it 5 years before it came. Ojo Corojo, it's there on all our social media. So we involve you guys, knowing the brands that we are bringing. So when we bring it, you are waiting for it. You are ready to experience it. You knew about it. You heard the name before. It's not a surprise. All of a sudden, Artesano bringing a brand called X, Y, and Z, and like, oh, what is this, right? So we make you part of the whole company, knowing what we are working on, the blend that we work on, and also the process. So we show you when we go down to the factory, we show you the samples, you see them, and then if you don't see them in a year, whatever it means, it still need time to work, right? And because we believe blending a cigar is as important as bringing the cigar to the market. So both of them are important. Both of them are completion to one of another, but they have to be 100% mature to bring it to the market. Before, otherwise, you shouldn't bring anything to the market.
A premium cigar should be like this, all the way down to the knob.
Mm-hmm.
Camera is not working
Yeah.
well, right? So this is exactly to let what Billy is saying, to like just show this picture and speak, let it speak by itself, that a good product will be consumed all the way to the bottom. And you will see me with this one, and this is the Connecticut Vida. I will smoke it all the way down to the bottom. This here, every project take close to 5 years. And people say by the time you are 100, maybe you have maybe 3 or 4 brands, and that's fine with me. Because what we do ourselves, we don't look at how many I have on the shelves, 70 or 80 different ones. It does not work like that. Because we know also the retail part of it. Every humidor, it's a limited square footage, and the real estate there is so expensive. You cannot have 17 or 25 or 35 of your boxes in one area. It's not fair on them, and also it's confusing for the consumer, right? So you have to build a brand that resonates in the mind and in the brain, on the palate of each and every consumer, that they will look forward to smoking again and again. That repeat is a sign of success. The success that we get from the consumer, they are the one who keep us flying high, and they are the one who make the brand go that high. And for that, I have to keep saying, we thank those people, and that's why every time we get the chance, we go, we shake hands, we thank the people who carry the brand, who allows Artesano Del Tobacco product to be on their shelves. This is what keeps us who we are and how we succeed in this particular business.
Now, at this year's PCA trade show, you were showcasing the Viva La Vida Connecticut. So can you tell us a little bit about that cigar, and why did you think now was the best time to kind of bring the cigar to the market?
So basically, another great question. As you saw, a lot of companies brought also Connecticut this year, right? And because we listen to the consumer, they are the one who suggested that we need to bring Connecticut to the portfolio, and it happened that a lot of companies also was bringing Connecticut. So when we work on the Connecticut, we wanted something that justify the brand that we had, which is the Viva La Vida, right? We want the same core of Viva La Vida, but we don't want it to be a copy of the Viva. We want similar flavors, similar notes, but totally different than the Viva experience, the classic. So what we did, when we blend cigars, when we work with AJ on blending the cigars, we learned that blending a cigar is exactly the same way as a baseball game, right? So the wrapper is imagine the wrapper is your pitcher, the binder is your catcher, and the catcher shouldn't overshadow the wrapper. So, and the fillers are all those players on the field, right? So you have right fielder, left fielder, and if you put the leaves on the left or the right, it changes the flavor. Same thing on the field, right? So the only way this game is going to start is when the consumer picks up that cigar, light it, and then smoke. So there is like 3 different options that's going to come, outcomes. One is a home run flavor, one is a base hit, and one is a strikeout. So we're always trying to work on the home run flavor of the cigar. If you understand blending from that point of view, you understand that you're going to bring something that the consumer will enjoy, the consumer will look forward to smoke. And as you see from our analogy, we showcase that every element of that leaf is important, from filler, binder, and wrapper. All of them should play as one team to create a great game, right? Same thing with the cigar. Each element of it, the filler, binder, wrapper, should be 100% the best for that blend to work. You cannot have only the wrapper as aged for a long time, but the filler and binder is not. So you're not gonna have a good blend, right? So that's the whole concept when we brought the Viva Connecticut. We studied it exactly what we are looking for, what the market is looking for, and we delivered in such a way that we felt it's important to remind people that this is Viva, but it's not Viva, right?
You know, as I said earlier, Antoine, Artesano Del Tobacco is known to have that medium full. And that was a request from the base, from the base. And we said, you know what, it's a hard task, but we're going to work on it. And we did. And the outcome, as you see, each and every consumer who did smoke the Viva La Vida Connecticut, they smoked it all the way to the bottom. We start collecting, like, also the experience that they have. We listen to everybody. And everyone tells you when you smoke usually a Connecticut, it will have that harshness, that bitterness at the end. With this particular one, it gets sweeter. The further you go down, all the way to the bottom, it becomes sweeter and more delicious. So for us as well, to listen to the base and to hear all those positive words from them as well, that is a home run. This is the home run that we were looking for. And again, we were so lucky to get it. Have you ever tried it yourself, Antoine? Did he try the...
Yeah, you gave me a sample, and I did try it. I think if it wasn't last weekend, it was the weekend before. So
what do you think? We'd like to hear your point of view.
For me, it was one of those where I actually felt like it had flavor in transitions, and I say that because sometimes you smoke a cigar and you just get the basic kind of cedar notes and wood notes and earthy notes, and you don't know what else to say beyond that. But with that cigar, I don't know what it was. I can't put a name to like the flavor, but there was like a little something extra in that made you go like, ooh, like, you know, you actually detected something like transitions. Wow. And like I said, flavor that made it memorable. And it's funny because you say you smoked it down to the nub, and I'm always the type who likes to smoke cigars down to the nub because I'm like, I want to get every penny out of this cigar. And I had no problem smoking it down to the nub. It didn't get harsh or anything like that for me. So if I had to say out of all the cigars, because I didn't smoke a lot during the trade show because I was so busy, but afterwards I kind of started going through things that people were giving me, and already I would say like the Viva La Vida Connecticut is probably in the top 5 that I've tried like at the trade show. And
thank you for the input. Thank you so much. Wow. It makes us so happy now as well. Thank you.
Yeah, like I was like, and like actually, I think I even tried it before I even reached out to you all. So it was like after I tried it, I was like, we have to have a conversation because I want to know more about these two and this company, because I feel like more people should know about you all and what you're doing. And but I want to congratulate you all on a very good release, because I don't consider myself a cigar expert by any means, but that was definitely one of, like I said, a good experience overall with that cigar.
Thank you so much. And again, as I told you, the wrapper is 6 years old. The filler and binder also 6 years old. And putting it together with the help of AJ and his team, created a multi-dimensional Connecticut cigar that it's not your typical one-dimensional Connecticut flavor. This has a lot of transition. It's not boring. It's unique and exciting to smoke. People who smoke, heavy smokers, will enjoy it. People who smoke a milder medium, they will enjoy it. So this is the concept that we were hoping for. And the outer result is a lot of people saying exactly what you said, but you put it exactly what I wanted to hear, is a memorable cigar. And this is, to me, you gave me $1 million just for you to say that. And we thank you for it.
No, thank you. Like I said, for that sample. We're as we get to this part of the show, I know we're going to kind of draw this part of the interview to a close, but we have some other things to kind of film after this main section. But I like to ask people like the same two questions to kind of end the show. The first of those questions is: do you have a philosophy that you live or work by?
A philosophy?
Mhm.
Yes, very simple. Be honest to yourself first before you are honest to anybody. Live your life to the fullest, but being honest to yourself. Don't imitate anybody, and be a creator.
Artesano Del Tobacco philosophy is derived and it's committed. We feel like we are committed. There's a commitment in the company to bring excellent and high-end quality premium cigars. This is the philosophy that we have when we were building our corporation. The old man has a lot of influence on us. You know, respect, make sure that no cutting corners. This is part of the philosophy that we have. If we are doing the business of creating and blending cigars, the philosophy of it is to bring a high-end premium quality to the market. This is the core philosophy that we believe in.
And for the final question, I'm going to ask each of you this question individually. So, Gus, I think I'm going to start with you. Gus, I want you to finish the sentence. Gus is
A great creator.
and Billy is
One of the best people I ever met in my life.
This is bold. As you see, we are very bold.
It's true. It's true.
well,
No, we are like down to earth kind of people. We respect everybody around us. We don't take advantage of anyone.
We are grateful for everything we have, for little or too much. We are grateful for it, and we are so grateful to be on your show, to met you at the PCA, to met Lisa and everybody at the PCA, our consumer, our cigar maker. We are grateful for all of them and all of you guys. We are working for you guys. We are doing what we are doing for you, honestly.
Right now, we feel you are very special. For you to give us the opportunity to be on your platform, to share what we believe in with everybody else. That is something that we cherish.
well, thank you so much for coming on. For those people who are not watching this and they may be just listening to the audio version, could you tell people what website and social media they need to go to kind of follow you all and to keep up with what your company is putting out?
Sure. So our website is www.artesanodeltobacco.com, and our Instagram page is Artesano Del Tobacco. Thank you for following. Thank you for sharing. You could send us your inside information, concerns, ideas, whatever you think that we should work on, fix, or something new. We are here for you. We are listening to you, and we would love to hear it from you guys.
And from me as well, Antoine, for you guys who are listening or watching, we thank them for their support. And I keep telling people, because of them, we are right now at this spot. Because of them, our success is through them, and we thank them for that always.
Well, thank you so much. And you two sit tight because we're going to film a couple other things before we sign off for tonight. But for those of you watching and listening to this, thank you for listening and watching deepcutslive.com. If you want to see past episodes, the best place to do that is to go to youtube.com/deepcutslive. You'll see all the 150 whatever episodes there are at this point. So you have plenty to catch up on if this is your first time, and there's always something new on the channel. So we're going to film a couple more things, so kind of you can look for some bonus content from this episode on YouTube shortly. So thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this anywhere, leave a review, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. And until next time.